I'll start here and I'll point around, and basically if you can introduce yourself, what you're working on, and your definition of what an app on IPFS is. The guidance I'll give you is that I think that building an app on IPFS should mean more than using it as a data layer for just objects for S3, which is great. We do want to have portable data on that. What else does it mean to build an app on IPFS, whether it's publishing on it, working with it, and other things kind of like that. So I guess that's my intro and my take. And my name is Boris Mann, and I'm the founder of Fission that is working on stuff related to this.
Hi, I'm Brooke, the co-founder of Fission. You're about to see a bunch of the stuff that I'm working on, so I guess I'll skip that part. And in fact, what we think about apps on IPFS, but the basic idea, I guess, is it can be used for a bunch of things, publishing portable data, user controls data, and compute as well, because functions are data as well. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. My name is Peter. I worked for S3 for like 1 week for now. So I'm quite new for IPFS thing, and I work there as a PM for a front-end developer. And to be honest, it's all new work for me right now. I'm consuming all the stuff, and I like the concept of how the data is stored and how it's backed and it's decentralized from one person, one company at a time. And I'm looking forward to get more about the concept, but I can share much more at the moment.
That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's actually really great. I'm super inspired by having content addressing as portable data, and I think that's actually something that we can start from, and that has come up as a common theme. So that's fantastic. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Mohsen. I work on the Ceramic network at Deluxe Labs for the Colline platform, and Ceramic builds a layer of immutability on top of what is essentially immutable data in immutability and IPFS. That's our more than S3 story. And it's also relevant to today's discussion, also working on the authorization piece with something we've been working for on what else we're talking about today.
Fantastic. Thank you.
I'm Jared Aller. I am an architect with Pinata, and I'm trying to understand, I'm newer to the space, more Web 2 background prior to about 2 years ago, so I feel like I'm ever learning more about the Web 3 space. So for me, I'm trying to understand the answer to that question, which is, what does an app look like? Because we have thousands of customers that do a million different kinds of things, and trying to understand which ones are the ones that are going to stay long term versus the ones that will fall off as their concepts sort of fizzle is really the part of kind of understanding better.
I think there's, you surfaced something really excellent. I think a lot of us would like more users, customers, developers. Those are all slightly different things depending on what we're talking about. Oftentimes our customers, developers, want users, and part of the choices that we make will affect the UX as well, and the expectation. So I think that's very much, I'll put that as a parking lot item of something that we should continue to kind of harvest and bring up as well. And analytics and tracking, and maybe some of the sensitivity in the space of even being tracked, where if we were building classic Web 2 apps, a PM would have no compunction to be like, let's put 9 billion trackers in this thing. So, thinking about adoption there. So that's a really great point. Ian.
I'm Ian from the Peerless. What we talk about here, so I won't say too much, but I think apps on IPFS should be at least as capable as apps on the normal web, but ideally even better and with better
Yeah, I think that's a really great point. Like, better than HTTP delivered apps is a pretty nice starting point, sort of thing like that. Little intro, who you are, what you're working on, and what you think about apps on IPFS.
So my name is Hitesh. I'm from Alvera startup. We are working on making it easy for people to build decentralized AI products. So applications, products, and services based around decentralized AI. So part of that is using decentralized infrastructure. Part of that is like I was saying about more better data ownership model. And one of the things I was just wanted to comment or follow up is, you had in sort of these evolution of different business models or data. You often pay to get a free service out of the data you provide, but in a new way, maybe the better incentive is for people to get paid for the data they provide, rather than a free service that might be pretty shitty.
I think business models is another great parking lot item that things that can be continuing discussion. So thank you very much. Yeah. Over in the corner there.
Yeah, always. So I'm working on a project called Candy, which is a mobile web OS, and it's very motive with integrating a bunch of distributed web techniques, IPFS, with CANs, EIDs, and especially what all an OS can play with all of these things to expose them to third-party apps and make them very easy to use for third-party apps.
Amazing. Great. Thank you.
Hi, Dustin Long. I'm working on DataLark, which is a StarLark layer over IPLD. Previously, I was working at Query, which was a company that was building apps on top of IPFS dataset storage. Specifically, didn't work out, but I was curious about what the future has to hold and it's going to go on.
And probably that query comment is maybe another parking lot item is IPFS ready to build apps on? / what do we specifically need to improve as a group, and what would people say are the highest items? So that's one of the wrap-up items that I'd love to do. Right, Jared, did you have a comment on that?
Just one of the things that when we talk about what it means to build apps on it, do we mean through a Web 2.0 perspective or truly IPFS? Because there's lots and lots of people building apps that use IPFS. The part that I'm trying to understand all the time is like, at what point does that start to shift to IPFS protocol as opposed to a gateway, or is that a permanent thing? Will there always be a need for that Web 2.0 interface?
I think this is literally one of the throughput kind of items. So if we were to build a native mobile app, as an example, that might make for an easy experience to more natively use literally IPFS : protocol links for things, right? Realistically, if we're delivering web apps, there's a bunch of different trade-offs that you might do of how to access data there. So totally valid question. And then, like Fleek, Pinata, and Fission all have publishing layers where you quote unquote compete in the hosting market with Netlify, Vercel, GitHub Pages, etc., of just publishing the front end of apps in there as well. And I feel like that hosting-y, publishing-y layer is a very specific use case. So we might dig into that as well. Does that seem fair as a background? David.
Hi, I'm Dave Ronchuk. I work with Protocol Labs. I help the research develop there, and I'm also working on a project called Backlayal, which is compute over data, which is helping folks to push their compute and requests to where the data is located. I also am part of the Compute Over Data working group, which I encourage you all to join, where we talk about this among many companies, including Vision and Alvera, many others.
Awesome. And David, along with Evgeny, this afternoon at 3 is going to have a dedicated session where we talk about that compute layer. So thank you.
I'm Stephen. I work on the VM
previously on IPFS. I guess my interest in building apps is that's kind of why I got into IPFS in the first place. I wanted to have some IPFS, and I've been trying to get Blossom into IPFS since I joined 5 years ago. And I'm really happy with this.
Fantastic.
Russell Dempsey, Sergeant Pookie is my alias everywhere. I work on, I'm the IPFS GUI team. So web UI, desktop, stuff like that, it's still maintained by some other people currently because I'm pretty new still. So I'm in the process of taking that over. And I'm interested in apps because, I mean, that's where the users are, and I'm a front-end dev. You know, I'm a full-stack dev, front-end. I started as an app dev on, you know, platforms and stuff. But yeah, I'm just interested in hearing all of the ideas for apps, the complaints for apps, and things like that, so that I know how to improve the tools that we have, and hopefully come up with some ideas for new tools and apps.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think there's probably a bunch of things where we have IPFS Desktop, IPFS Companion, Brave, Opera, a few other things like that that have some like substrate pieces and user expectations around there. That's like a whole thing. I actually wonder if I feel like we haven't done much of a push. Other Web3 communities do a real push to get people to like run their own nodes. And the IPFS desktop client is actually pretty great. There's like, again, there's the constraints of everyone wants it to do everything kind of thing. And that's the whole Kubo thing as well. Quick little poll in the room. Do you think that we should get more users to install and use the IPFS desktop app? Is that a goal? Yes. There's some, I was recently checking out again, and there's some example things. So for example, pinning surface API, and you can pin things on Pinata directly. So that might be something that we parking lot and see if we get some more discussion around too, right? I would love for you to even maybe like walk through the IPFS desktop UI. I can tell you all the grumps I have with it.
I would love to hear it, honestly. Yeah. It's not an issue, then you can make it one or
Yeah.
complain in my ear.
Fantastic. Awesome. We are doing an intro, a hello. What the heck is an app on IPFS even mean? Why am I interested? Why am I so excited that IPFS is awesome leading the witness?
Okay, Adrian, Lens Economy Online. I've worked across Cluster, Bifrost gateways, Kotlin, various parts of the stack, and currently working on infrastructure, DAG house, so NFT data storage and so on. I don't know if I can condense what an application on IPFS is. It's seen various iterations on the idea. So I'm keen to see what the current thinking is.
Awesome. Super fantastic.